Hello, everyone. It's Blue. How are you today? So, it's a new year, or on the Gregorian calendar, it's a new year, right? So, Happy New Year for those who celebrate New Year on January 1. But I wanted to start this year with my channel to really talk about my journey. I'm about to hit 50 in 2 months. And so I have this long urging and desire and plan that when I hit 50, I was going to start setting myself up to move abroad. And abroad for me is Africa, Ghana. Many of you know that I celebrate Yoruba Ifa, as a lot of my lineage comes from Nigeria and my bloodline, along with Mali, Senegal, Benin and Togo, etc. So for me, it just makes sense. It's been calling me, and it's high time for our people to start making the trek back to the motherland and giving back to the motherland. It is high time for that. And I want to be an ambassador to do that and support those who want to do that. So, who I have on with me right now is someone that I have been watching on YouTube for quite some time. And I've been looking through YouTube because I'm like, I've heard the horror stories about diasporans buying land over there. And I'm like, I need to find somebody that spirit tells me that I can trust. And when I landed on a gentleman, his name is Ishmael, he has a channel, and he was interviewing this gentleman that we have before you. Everything within me was saying, this is the one, these two. And I'm going to get to Ishmael as soon as I can too. But I definitely wanted to get with the gentleman that's on with us because it has such a great wealth of information. Allow me to introduce to you today Mr. Otto Wright, affectionately known as Red Ringo. Red Ringo, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing well. I'm doing well, and thank you also for such a privilege to be on your channel and also to talk to most of your viewers as well. Yes, as you mentioned, people know me on YouTube and TikTok as Red Ringo. So yeah, and I'm always fine. I'm always good to meet new people and also share amazing stories and information with them as well.
Well, I can tell you, you are absolutely amazing. I was glued to the screen when you were talking. I was taking notes and the whole nine, and I followed you immediately. Now you are your title. You're a man of many hats. You're a land broker. You're a project manager. My favorite is that you're a nature conservationist and that you're a
Yeah.
maintenance officer. So my goal is to acquire land and start building, and I knew that I wanted to partner with you to facilitate that. So tell me a little bit about exactly what you do and where you do it.
Okay. Let me give you in terms of the interesting aspect of my life. As a child, I had a very passionate when it comes to farming. Even though I wasn't raised in the rural area, but you could see that the love and passion, especially when I see in Ghana, yeah, especially in the capital town, for example, Accra, most of the time our abandoned railway lines just next to them in the 90s and early in the 90s and late 80s, you find out that a lot of people do some small vegetable farming around those railways. So those things all as a child keeps me so interested in terms of seeing lettuce and those growing up. So when I decided that I have to go to the high school, I chose agriculture science as what I want to go and do. And fortunately, when I went to the high school, because most of our high schools here in Ghana, it's not like you start from grade one and you go all the way to grade 12. No, you start from grade one, you get to like grade nine, you write what we call a basic examination certificate, then it gives you an entrance into the high school. So if you don't pass that exams, you won't be able to go to high school, and you don't continue from that junior school that you are. You go to a different school. So you can go to a different high school in different region. What we have here, not a province or state. So you move from Accra as a young boy, finish grade 9, then move to grade 8, and then start with grade 9 in an Cape Coast where I am from. So when I went to the school, my aim and idea is going to read agricultural science. Only for me to go there, and they say the courses that they have is rather agricultural mechanization, and it involves agricultural science and all that. But meaning that I'm going to do more into agriculture implement and other agriculture equipment. That's where the nature conservation started, because as nobody can say that he or she is a farmer who is not also attached to nature conservation, because both of them go hand in hand. If you cannot protect the nature, you cannot farm on it.
Agree.
So this is how, yes, this is all started and finished. Went to the tertiary, did different courses, did shipping on high sea. So there's a lot that came to mind. Then 2019, when the year of return came, I decided to come back to Ghana. By then, I have, as a young fellow, migrated to UK, then South Africa for many years. So I worked in school in South Africa. So 2019, I decided to come back home to Ghana and actually stay for good. So I didn't know that there's also a lot of opportunities whereby a lot of diasporans are also coming back home and all that. So even when I entered the country, the idea also was to go into farming, and that's animal husbandry. It wasn't easy because most of the time you need a capital to start all this.
Mm-hmm.
I had all the great plans, I had the ideas and all that, but in terms of capital and all that. And then I met a cousin of mine whom said, okay, if you have the human resource, then why don't I also bring the financial aspect for us to go as a team and then work on something? And guess what? When we started in terms of searching for about an acre to start with this farm thing, we looked at two places, and I don't know how it ended up. And I finally got a place at Asebu. So that's how I ended up in Asebu. By then, they haven't even started this year of return thing and all that. And I have no idea that something like this would even come, where diasporans will be flagging in this district and buy land and all that. So through this small piggery, we started with pig farm and all that on a small scale. So through this, that also I heard the story of, oh, now there's going to be opportunity where diasporans are coming. They're coming to, actually, it wasn't even coming to buy a land, but those that knows the story, they heard that they are going to be given a free land, yeah, for them to start something. It's a government collaboration and all that. So I wasn't much interested in that. I was concentrating on that my small pig farm, activity. So after a year, 2020,
Mm-hmm.
it was tough because COVID has popped in. Everything is just turned upside down. Things were not going well. I still persisted that I'm not leaving this community, this Asebu rural area. I will stay and see actually what will happen. So when people were living with the going to the big city because COVID is in and all that, I stayed and then waited in terms of what will happen next. So after the COVID, this program of this the year of return, the freelancing started in. People were coming one by one. So whenever I go to Asebu town, I see diasporans, few people coming here and there and all that. So I started gathering some information about their mission and also in terms of their plans in this area that I am. Things went on. I didn't involve myself. Things went on. I didn't involve myself. I started gathering information. Then I became a friend to one diaspora, whom today I said is part of the pioneers that started Asebu Pan African Village. Because as I speak to him, he lives there. He has built his house and he lives there. So when I became close to him as a friend, he started sharing his story in terms of the challenges that he's having and other earlier diasporans are having in terms of even how to, go about the paperwork from the chief's office. The Asebu Pan African side, the chief's office, prices of building materials not being right because they know that they don't know much about the system yet, so they get inflated prices and all that. So it's dampening their projects. So I said to him, look, this is what I do in terms of farming and all that, but I will assist you. So that's how the journey started because I came out with honesty, trustworthy. I always say this that if you want people to move with you in the right direction, always be trust somebody that they can trust and believe in him. That's how I started. Only for now, people to get to know. By then, I didn't even have any channel. Then this old man referred me to another person from US to say, if you are coming to Asebu and you've got a land or you are now planning to get a land, please call Ato. Then he gave my number. No, there was no YouTube channel or what. So I started and I started receiving calls because of their stories, because people have heard that I'm assisting a lot of diasporans. Then a time came, 2022, when they had the issue with the land that is being given to them at the Asebu Pan African village because
Mm-hmm.
a family that believes that this land meant that they said proved that they did not consult them before initiating that program of the year of return of the diaspora receiving a free land. So it became
Mm.
an issue and all that. So what I did was to also do my little bit investigation and finding around that enclave which royal family have a land that doesn't have any litigation, where families are always at peace and together to welcome the diasporans. So when
Mm-hmm.
I did all this research and found out that not far from Asebu Pan African village, I can find a community that has not even received any diasporan at all, whereby the young chief and the elders are willing to accept the diasporans into their community, sell the land to them in a very affordable price because they want the community to develop. After talking to them and all that, 2022, that's how I enrolled this Ajedem project with the, it's one of the biggest within the district here. So this is how I started. And when I started, someone said, prompted me, I'll have to get your own YouTube channel. People wants to see you. People wants to know what you are doing. This is how I started with this Ajedem project with the young, vibrant, visionary chief and the elders at Ajedem.
Well, please give them my best. I thank them for that. Let them know that it is working. And totally, I am totally in on supporting the efforts of Ajidam. And I can't wait to build. Literally stayed up, and I think I told you this, in the middle of the
Yeah.
night. My pen would not stop writing. And I literally built a whole plan of everything that I want to do in Ajidam. And I believe and know that those things are gonna get done. But one of my greatest concerns, Red, is is I want to really give a great focus to agriculture and farmers. In my heart
Yeah.
and my belief is that farmers first. In fact, I've got written on my page, make farming first again. And that is my
Yeah.
mantra, make farming first again, because no one eats, no one survives without farmers. I love agriculture. My grandmother, to watch her do her thing, and some of those things have carried over into my life. And so my number one goal is to celebrate farmers and celebrate agricultural business there, and see what we can do, what I can do, and what others can do to support uplifting farmers and uplifting women entrepreneurs. That's my two things that I'm going out through the rest of my life trying to do in Ajidam. So with that being said, about farming in your community, what is the greatest need when it comes to agriculture and farming there?
Okay, thank you for this question. Our district here is predominantly known and recognized within the country as a hub of citrus farming, where citrus in the olden days, where citrus, most of our citrus comes from, and now we this aspect of citrus hub within this district is fading out. It's fading out simply because the current generation that we have here don't see much importance of going into citrus farming,
Mm,
and I know that it's all based on lack of modern day agriculture practices. So
mhm,
it's a form of the lack of knowledge into modern day technology when it comes to farming, and also capital, and also sometimes also the issues got to do with our land tenure system, whereby some of them don't have the land to do that, because most of the time lands are getting value now.
mhm,
So the owners feel that you coming to take it for farming, most of the time farming money that they pay for a land to farm is not like the money that you get from selling the land. So
mhm,
it's also another challenge, and another challenge is also about the passion and the vision for young people to go into farming. It's not that because of this lack of knowledge and education as well into farming. So we've got few challenges, like 5 points, that financial challenge in terms of knowledge, land tenure system, and also the agriculture, the type of agriculture, modern day agriculture practices are also not there as well. And also, let me add the fifth one: climate change is also affecting
mm,
the way people farm now. Yes, because it's also affecting them, because you meet those people, few that are into farming, are all the time complaining that what they used to get 10 years ago in terms of how the weather plays when they are farming is not the same now. So you
mm.
can say, even though they don't understand about climate change, but they have something, they know that something really is going on within the climate that doesn't allow them to get the kind of yield that they
The
want.
kind of yield. Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, for someone to be able to pour into the education for the youth. See, for me, what you just told me was that there's a problem there to be solved. What ways of farming, what techniques, what machinery, ingenuity could be used to solve that issue? If we know that the climate is changing,
Yeah.
maybe there's greenhouses, maybe there's other ways of doing this to be able to get the yield that we want.
Yeah. For me, I'm looking at, because most of, even on, I would say, uneducated youth around here have a smartphones.
Mhm,
Yeah, they know how to get their videos, how to go on TikTok, even though probably they cannot type in the English word and all that, but most of them are using smartphones. And this is whereby, for me, I see it as an opportunity for them to start on a small scale. And when I say on a small scale, to catch them and bring that interest and love into farming to them, I always look at starting with greenhousing, because I don't see them as the kind of youth that we have within this. I don't see them going into this long-term crops, in terms of crops that takes longer period to grow and harvest. So
mhm.
for you to succeed in terms of getting this youth to have the passion and all that, one need to consider, rather go for greenhousing, and then type of vegetables that they can see that within just shorter time they can get some income out of it. This can be the beginning of whatever that you plan for them, and it will succeed. Than for them to go back to what they saw their late grandparents and their late or present parents, going through of having a citrus. They have to wait for a year to harvest it. They have to wait for a year to harvest a coconut, or they have to wait for 7 years before they can start harvesting a coconut, or 10 years before they can start harvesting a citrus. The kind of youth that we have in the generation now don't have that time to wait.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
I think that vegetable farming can be a source of beginning for them. And very interestingly, also, let me also tell you that within this district, we have more bowls than any other district.
mm,
Yes. Why am I saying this? Because even though most of the bowls are privately owned, it's an opportunity, because for people that wants to do greenhousing in their various houses to do it, because we, I personally have done more than 40 boreholes for
wow.
individuals within Panafrican and Ajedam. So you can imagine. And other land brokers are also, and then building consultants are also doing other boreholes for other clients as well. So this is an opportunity, because most of the time, they, in terms of vegetable, why people don't go into vegetable farming within this area is because of source of irrigation or water to water the plants. But now we have these opportunities now. But how do we encourage them to go into, and how do we bring them on board and educate them to go into vegetable farming?
All right, so let's brainstorm that for a minute, because I want to see if we can come up with something together. So let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. For the young folks, what I'm hearing you say is that there's a lack of education, there's a lack
Yeah,
of funding,
yeah,
and there's a lack of land availability because they don't have the farm,
yeah,
the capital to buy the land,
yeah,
right?
uh,
So would
yeah,
you think that a maybe like a contest or a scholarship where one could partner with you, partner with the chief and the elders to say, to someone who demonstrates, a young person who demonstrates, or a group of young people who demonstrate that they want to learn agriculture and grow in this industry, which is the number one industry in your continent,
yeah,
which is, and that's what's baffling to me, is because I know it's the Hollywood thing that's all flashy and this, that, and the other, that's
yeah,
attractive, but there's no sustainability to it. It doesn't last. You're only as good as the next hot act. You're as good as the next best singer. You're as good as the next best dancer. But something like this, everyone will have to be able to eat and provide sustenance for their bodies for the rest of eternity, as until
yeah,
spirit says something changes, that it will always
yeah,
be a need. So what I'm thinking, and we're just brainstorming right now, is if there's a way to partner with yourself, with the chief and the elders of the land, and saying, hey, if we can set aside this amount of land, and I know I can do some fundraising, or something, GoFundMe or whatever, to have money to pour into this, and then say, okay, young people, you want to make money? Let's see if you can do this, and make that
yeah,
thing attractive for them, and say, now you can get on your little phones and your Instagrams and show how you were able to grow this crop that normally takes this amount of time to grow. You're already starting to see the evidence of its growth and its maturity. Or you could say, okay, my cantaloupe or my coconuts are this size, mine are the biggest, what's yours? Make a contest, make that, give some
yeah.
competitive edge to it. So I'll talk to you if, do you feel like something like that might attract the young folks?
Yes, definitely. For me, what I also know is that even though yes, we have land challenges when it comes to agriculture, The reason why we have this land challenges when it comes to agriculture is that many a times people come and take, let me say, 50 or 20 or 10 acres of land and just leave it bare. Because you might find out that the person that is going into that farm, I mean, activity hasn't obtained much education before venturing into that. So when that person fails, he or she leaves the land there. So that actually upsets the elders and the chiefs. And whenever that a young person goes to ask for a land or they give references. So with this, I always say that yes, they are forever, the community that I am in there in terms of Ajedam, they are forever ready, even if it's an acre of land or half an acre, and they consider there's a potential or there's a group of young people who are willing to start something that will flame or will bring this passion out for others to follow. They are forever ready to give that piece of land if they can see that there will be a fund to run that project for others to obtain that education or that practices, the farming practices, they are ever ready to release that land. But in
Okay.
a situation whereby someone will come and even sometimes people come with business plans to say that I want 50 acres, I want 100 acres, I want to do this and all that. Sometimes you realize that the person is just not ready. There's no, funds for that and not so. And then also meaning that when they sign off a document, leasing the land, now the land becomes bare. If they sign for 10, 20 years, is just the land is just standing there with no farming activity on. So these are some of the challenges that they've been facing. That's why most of the landowners in Ghana don't want to release their land. Rather, they wait till when a real estate developer or when someone that is ready to buy a piece and build a house comes, they lease or sell that land to the person because they consider there's a value in that than going to the agriculture. So there's always a potential with that when they consider there's true vision and also readiness for that project.
Okay. So yeah, so as far as what I would do, and I'm not a lawyer, I've always aspired to be one, and legal ease
Yeah.
comes easy to me. But I would, if going forward, if I was in a position of the elders and the chief selling the land, I would actually have a clause that if you're going to buy this land and expect to retain it within, 2 years or a year or whatever, you
Yeah.
are required to start your efforts on this. And if you do not, then it's null and void, and we take this back from you. That's what I would do. Because that's a
Yes.
lot of acreage just to be sitting there.
Yes. Because of this challenge of people getting the land and leaving it there. Now, this is one some of our land documents that we do in terms of the survey. Now we have a clause in it that says that if you purchase this land or you are leased, please make sure that you build something on it within 2 years. So if
Perfect.
we yes, so we already have, like, if you buy a land and I help you and all, these are some of the things that you read it in this document to state that within 2 years, please build something on the land. If not,
Okay.
people will just buy it and leave it there, and the place still looks bullshit.
Excellent. Okay, so now that we talked about the young folk and what we could do and where we could start going to bring interest from them, which I'm going to really start meditating and thinking on. I want to talk about the folks who are currently farming right now. What is
Yeah.
their greatest need?
We call now what majority of people are practicing here are they are peasant farmers in a small group of maybe some of them are the biggest you might find someone farming is maybe an acre because the person is using a manpower, still using the old method of using a
Mhm.
machete or a cutlass to weed, no proper mower, long mower, or anything that the person can use to weed. And these days also most of them have adopted the use of weedicide, which for me is not a best idea. But because they don't have any other means, so they go for the chemicals to kill the weeds and then plant, which have a long-term effect on the land. So most of the
Mm,
farmers that we have here are peasant farmers, and then also majority of them are old. Majority
mhm,
of them are old people. So you can imagine that an old and a 60-year-old, 70-year-old carrying a cutlass with a wife goes to the farm, comes back with maybe a basket of cassava or two, bunches of plantain or banana. Then during
mhm,
market days, they take it to the market and all that. And people are going, even in terms of the cassava that they also plant, it's an individual thing. So yeah, it's a peasant farming that you see most of the time, because most of the farms that we used to know are no more, simply because when they inherit them, when the children or the grandchildren inherit them, because they were not trained and they don't have the passion, they left all the farms to go waste. So
mm,
everything and most of the farms are turning to bush. So that's why those landowners are also selling them for real estate.
mm. Okay. All right. So there's an ageism problem. What it basically boils down to is that we need to bring younger blood in that are serious about farming and understanding the importance of it and understanding how lucrative it
Yeah,
can be.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that is what the piece that I wanted to talk about that. And I think I don't want to go too far into it, but I do want to talk about Ajdam because I am like so in love with I haven't even set foot there yet, but my heart bleeds Ajdam. And I
Okay.
just know when I get there, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna probably cry for
Yeah.
days because it's calling me. And so as far as um the process, well, not even so much the process. Um is there still land available? Is
Okay.
you know, what does that look like for us?
Well, yeah. If whenever that I talk about Ajedam, I first have to talk about Cape Coast
Yes,
first,
Cape Cod.
our capital. Yeah, because Cape Coast, in terms of the mother city, attracts thousands and thousands of people every year. In terms of even millions every year to that city, because of the dark history of slavery,
That's true.
and also what I've also seen is that when people enter Cape Coast and enter communities around this region, it gives them some sense of peace
Right.
and some sense of belonging. So when no one, you have to, when you come from Accra, right from the airport to Cape Coast, there's no way that you cannot tour the city, because from Ajedam to Cape Coast is about 20 minutes drive to the dungeon, and the nearest beach around here is 10 minutes drive. From Ajedam to the nearest beach is 10 minutes drive. Also,
Okay.
if I talk about Ajedam and I don't talk about Pan African village, then I'm not doing justice, because out of Pan African village that gave birth to Ajedam,
Right.
and out of the crisis that they had in the Pan African village, that gave another village to Onyaba, which is also not far from what do you call Pan African village as well. The beauty of Ajedam is they have a very visionary leader, very young and very inspired leader, and one could sense and see that when the diasporans came to that community, there's been so much peace and harmony and development, because they brought a lot of investment into that area. Simply because, as I speak to you now, what also the chief and the elders do with the money that comes from the sales of land is that they've managed to build almost 7 temporary classrooms for the poor kids that were always left in the house, simply because the education system here have certain age group that you can, or age that you can start school. So preschools and pre nurseries and all the preschools, most of the time they don't accept you in this government school. So what do we always see? The chief realized that this little kids as young as 1 year, 2 years, 3 years are left in the house, and the parents
Mm.
goes to the farm
Mm-hmm.
without anyone caring for them. And also, if someone is going to care for them, maybe their elder sister or brother, meaning that this young school going age fellow is being denied going to school because he or she have to stay in the house and look after the young kid. So this is
Mm.
what inspired the chief to start with this preschool at his palace. Just 2 years, you can imagine that they are more than 100 kids now. And this
Wow.
100 kids also, what normally you find out that they go through certain challenges in terms of feeding and all that. So they feed them in the morning, and then afternoon also, after school closes, the preschool closes also, they feed them before going home at 3 p.m. They've bought them a mini bus where the bus take them. Like some of them, I don't think that most of the time it's the rich people's kids that experience this sort of school bus coming to get them, take them to school and bring them home. But we are
Mm-hmm.
experiencing this in Ajeda, whereby the chief, out of this sales of land, used some of the money to buy a minibus to fetch these kids from various villages that are not even under him. It's not part
Wow.
of his jurisdiction, but out of generosity and the vision he have, they go almost like 6 communities early in the morning to get all these kids and bring them to school. And when 3 p.m. comes also, the bus takes them to their very, these are some of the things. Some of the things that when you come to the community, you see, they have a second division soccer academy there where
Mm.
they inspire up and coming young boys that are into football. You
Wow.
see that there. And then there's also some diasporans that have taken it upon themselves, those with have IT skills. Now, every Saturday, bring children that are prepared and passionate about learning about IT. They have
Mm-hmm.
laptops, they have a section, class section, depending on the age. So that is also ongoing within that community. But apart from that, I told you that most of the youth there are not passionate about farming, but
Mm-hmm.
rather what they've now englued or they fell in love now is the construction that is now ongoing. So most of the youth now don't go idle; they rather go on the construction floor and get those with skills get their work to do, and those without skills also get there and get labor job and they get paid. So they also,
Mm-hmm.
so now there's a form of employment, also a good one within that community. So yes, so I would say that there's a lot that is going on.
Okay. Okay. Well, this all I'm hearing you say is opportunity, opportunity, opportunity,
Yes,
opportunity, opportunity. And
yes,
there's no better way to have opportunity than to also have the leader and the leaders of your community backing those opportunities.
yes,
I cannot wait to get there, get started. You and I will talk again. You've given me such great information. You've given my viewers such great insight and information. I just want to take a moment, in my own space to just dissect it down and then start developing plans to start sending, whatever resources that we can to support and, start my projects there and then come back to you. I want to start another series where we talk about the process of diasporans obtaining land there because we've got to get out of here. It's time for us to come home.
yeah,
This is not it.
yeah,
We've given them enough time. But my first and foremost thing above all of these things is supporting our agricultural community, our farming experts.
yeah,
Because as far as I'm concerned, if you can till the ground and deal with nature and there yield a fruit from your labor, you are an expert. You're blessed from your head to your feet because that takes a passion, that takes a skill, and that literally takes an anointing over you to be able
Yeah.
to do that. It's such an honorable profession. And I want to bring that back to the forefront to show people that while you think this is an honorable profession, there's so many opportunities to win with this. Whether if you want to build greenhouses, develop different ways to build. I'm seeing
Yeah.
people create different things where they can build or they can create or cultivate herbs and fruit and vegetables inside their home with just water, hydroponics, you know?
Yeah.
And be just as successful. So I will be certainly thinking about those things. Is there anything you'd like to leave with me and my wonderful followers before we let go until we meet the next time?
Okay, so what my final words to your viewers is, uh, what the vision that I have, and then the love that I have for the people of Central region of Cape Coast. I always think of how United Arab Emirates develop, where there's good leadership, things happen. And this is the same thing that we want Cape Coast Ajedam to be. We want people to come and invest, because as I speak to you now, we are in our dry season, but you will be surprised that all the leaves, all the trees are still green. It tells you how fertile the land is.
Right.
Our land is so
Wow.
fertile that when you mow down with you few weeks, the weeds are up again. This is
Right.
how fertile the place is. People that wants to know more about Ajedam can also Google the Ajedam, or go to my YouTube channel. There's a lot of stories that have been told about the place. If people have been scammed, I know many people have had bad experience when it comes to land issue in Ghana, but we also have places that have good stories to tell, like Ajedam community, like the Asebu side. There are places also within Asebu that have good story to tell, because it's not everywhere that have crisis when it comes to land in Ghana yet. This is Ajedam. You've discovered the place that there's a place like Ajedam that have this peaceful atmosphere where the diasporans are striving. I want to say, please come back home.
Mhm.
This is what I always say: never forget about your roots. Also, never forget about the hands that feeds you. So if America is feeding you, don't bite the hands that feeds you, but also don't forget about your roots.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so very much, Red Ringo. Y'all make sure y'all follow him. What is your handle on YouTube and Instagram?
YouTube is Red Ringo. I don't use Instagram, but
Okay.
TikTok is also Red Ringo.
All right, so y'all, let's get it. Let's follow Red Ringo. Y'all have to go check him out because he's showing you all of the community and how they're building. I've learned so much about farming and building by watching this man here, and then the
Yeah,
construction and all that. And you got to follow him. Of course, I'm going to certainly be connected because I'm going to start my process because I like to lead by example and show y'all my journey as I go through this process, and I will film all of that all the way through.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, Red Ringo, thank you so much. We'll meet again and do another video in about a month or so.
Lastly, yeah, let me say this. Lastly, I've seen people that sometimes ask, how do I start, in terms of how do I start the journey of coming to Ghana? You'll be surprised that I've sent an invitation to a lot of people to get visas to come to Ghana, and most of the time they even get 5 years visa. So
Wow.
I send free invitations as well. Those that are willing to come and look around, I do send invitations free of charge for them to come around and see the motherland. I've been doing that as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna need my visa. I got a passport, but I guess I need a visa. Gonna definitely need that. And I am going to
Yeah,
make a clarion call
yeah,
and a call to action for people who are serious, and I'm going to vet them to make sure that they're serious because my name is on this, so they can't be coming with any craziness.
yeah,
You got to be ready to get put the work in, and that farming and building the community is your number one passion. Because my thing is, before I even move there, I want to build for the land and the community. Then I'll move there. I can come there and stay, whatever. But
Yeah.
I want to be able to see my hands put in the work first, and then let me go ahead and chill a little bit. But that's how I'm rolling. So yes, yes, yes to all
Yeah.
of that. Yes, I'm going to develop something where I can have all of us take a group trip together. We'll plan that out. We've got each other's numbers. I'll figure it all out. I'll get with you and you'll help me figure out the rest of it. And we will get our people back home where we belong. It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
All
Take
right.
care
Well, guys,
and hope
thank
to talk to you again.
you will.
Stay
And to all
blessed.
of our subscribers, thank you. Blessings to you, Ashe. And to everyone
Thank
that
you.
watched, thank you very much. Make sure you follow on his socials. I will have everything in the description so that you can go right to his page. All right. Have a great day. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.